Morgantown, the site of a semifinal in the Patriot League, as BU and Bucknell seek the chance to dance. Presented by Kubota. From Case Gym on the roof, the 7 seed Bucknell Bison face the 3 seed Boston University Terriers. Bucknell, a perennial power in the Patriot, these days playing the role of upstart, has already authored the biggest upset of the tournament, taming the 2 seed American on the road to reach the semis. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm John Sadak alongside the former Texas Tech head man and Chris Walker. What stands out about today?
John, what stands out to me, it is March Madness, and you know what that means. Upsets. Bucknell's already pulled off one, beating the 2 seed American, and they're here to beat BU today. We'll see what happens. And on the other side, Joe Jones has had a tremendous year, but in order to get to the championship, he's going to have to beat the Bucknell Bison for the 3rd time.
He's also going to have to take out Toomer, the Bucknell star, who's been coming on of late.
Well, he's been playing absolutely great, and he's shooting the ball tremendous from the 3-point line. Clutch in the tournament is what he has been. A big 3 to close out Holy Cross, and free throws at the end to pull that upset off against American. I love him, John, but they're going to need him to shoot it well to get it done today.
He's been their leading scorer in this tournament, while Max Mahoney has been BU's leader throughout the season, the best big in the Patriot.
No question about it, and he's a double-double machine. And then big a compliment. Joe Jones says he's having the best year of any player that he has ever coached. He's very versatile. He's athletic. He's strong. They're going to have to trap him. We'll see how much attention. And the one thing he can do great, he can really pass the basketball. We'll see what happens. He may be big today.
Now, they doubled him quite a bit when these teams met 8 days ago, and all BU did was roar back from down 16 to author the upset of the year in their season. But this is the biggest game. Only one moves on to the championship and a chance to be a part of March Madness.
You will remember me.
Being a rider is tough. Most of the time it feels like you're hanging on by a thread. But if you hang on long enough, it pays off. PBR on CBS Sports Network.
Every pass, every point, every win. What you don't see, the preparation, the dedication of every Bucknell student-athlete as they strive to become champions and leaders who thrive in the classroom and beyond. Their passion for excellence fuels that pursuit, opening doors to a lifetime of success by way of Bucknell.
They say time is the ultimate test. But we didn't just settle for standing the test of time. We drove through it, climbed over it, found ourselves up to our headlights in it, and proved that we make the longest lasting 4x4 SUV brand on the road and off it. So, maybe it's time you joined our family.
With friends and family pricing for all, purchase and get $3,287 below MSRP on the 2020 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited.
At today's Best Western, stay 2 nights and get a free night for your next stay. 1 night, 2 nights, free night. Book now at bestwestern.com.
Bud Light Seltzer, unquestionably good.
With conference tournaments in full swing, we sit down with Sabrina Ionescu and get an inside look at the Aztecs' magic run with Coach Brian Dutcher.
Aztecs on 3, 1, 2, 3, Aztecs.
We Need to Talk, Tuesday on CBS Sports Network.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Kubota. Together we do more. By the Army National Guard. Learn more at NationalGuard.com. And by AT&T.
Right next to Case Gym used to sit the home of the Boston Braves. Braves Field, National League power in the early 1900s. These days it's Nickerson Field. That's where graduation takes place for the students at BU. Welcome on back. John Sadak, Chris Walker, our CBS crew. Take a look at today's starting lineups brought to you by Kubota. These have been the usual suspects for both teams throughout the year. Bucknell is without the services of Bruce Moore, a broken hand that was suffered in early February. He gets that cast off on Monday. If Bucknell wins the Patriot League tournament, he could be part of a first four conversation. He did go through the team's practice yesterday. Ball in the air, tapped back. And Bucknell on the road, unfamiliar territory for a proud program that played at home in 22 straight Patriot League tournament games until last year's championship, a loss against Colgate.
Done spending some time with Coach Nathan Davis. He's a tremendous coach. He just talks about everything that they have lost, all the players they have lost. And again, they're still building this year. And an upset in American, BU definitely needs to have some awareness here.
The BU in the half court. Mahoney, seal, sink.
Yeah, can't have that. I talked about that in the open. They're going to have to go trap him, force him to kick out. When he turns the ball over out of double teams, BU is not as good.
They're one and done for Bucknell. BU on the year has been about defense and rebounding at both ends of the floor.
They're going to have a stellar effort, particularly from the three-point line, because when Bucknell shoots the ball well, they're pretty good.
Sukmel Matone puts it in, so you can see part of the game plan early, drive inside.
Yeah, no question. It's funny that one of my keys for Bucknell is dominate the paint, because if they don't dominate the paint, you see what Boston University's doing. They're throwing it inside early and often.
And help coming on Paul Trey Newman, trying to fight through the contact, rattles it down. He began the year as the starting center, went to the bench and became a starter again after Bruce Moore injured his hand.
Yeah, he played great at American. They're going to their big guy as well. He can finish inside too. That's one of their weaknesses, but he can actually mitigate some things if he makes some shots here early.
Corner three ball, the rainbow swish. Walter White.
So I think BU knows what they're playing for. They're coming out, shooting the ball lights out, and they're red hot.
And Bucknell takes and makes a lot of threes, but as you alluded to, they have the worst field goal percentage inside the arc in the Patriot League.
Yeah, it's tough, and that's what you have to do to shooters. You have to run them off the line and force them to make circus shots and be athletic at the rim.
Jimmy Soto's point guard extraordinaire. Bank it home.
Love him. You know, they even post him up sometimes. He is very crafty, and he can get to the rim and make baskets. They're going to need someone big. Toomer's been doing great, but they're going to need Soto as well. They're going to win this game.
He was a big part of Bucknell's championship game run a season ago when he averaged over 6 dimes a game and played most of conference action with a very injured shoulder.
And as you can see Toomer's fronting, trying to get around, and here's that double team coming. That's what they have to do this game.
Well, you were on it, and there's a jump ball. Arrow favors BU. You said as soon as we sat down today, if Bucknell's going to find a way to win, they got to turn them over.
They got to definitely turn them over. You see Toomer's trying to get on the top side there. Walter White's got to dribble the ball down. We call the 45-degree angle. Dribble it down a little bit lower, get a better angle. And as soon as he throws it in, Bucknell's going to double from the backside. That's going to happen. It should happen, shall I say, the entire game.
Nathan Davis has 2 losses in this tournament. Last year's title game is the 3-ball at the horn. Javante McCoy.
Wow.
Soto stepping back. Could not respond. Fighting amongst the trees. What will from Newman?
And they need the big fella from Philadelphia to come up big. He needs to be a Broad Street bully in that paint if these guys are going to have a chance today.
Well, Bucknell's only other tournament loss under Nathan Davis when they were the victim of a major upset by 9-seed Holy Cross. That was in 2016. McCoy, 3-ball again.
Conference at home. It's starting off on fire. Bucknell's going to have to make some adjustments, get out there, force them to run them off the line and force them to get to the rim and make some circus shots.
Andrew Funk, who's a streaky shooter for Bucknell off. White, a little Euro on high. McCoy's been the hot hand. Mahoney wants a touch. Mahoney, slash into the rim, steamrolls a Bison. And the foul call.
charge.
Get him on the offensive. And what did Sotos take with that contact?
And he took a lot of contact, and you can see that action. I was going to point out, they fake that ball screen on that side, and they love to get that dives to the rim by the big fella Mahoney. That's a scouting report thing. They paid attention to the scouting report. They know that action happens on that side. Sotos there, positioned to take the charge.
Well, remember that Sotos in the quarters against American, against Player of the Year, Saeed Nelson, took a big charge with under a minute to go. Mahoney strips it right back from it. McCoy, right to the rim. And Bucknell's got it. Sotos has been a warrior fighting through injury most of last year. And he's been banged up of late. Drop step, strong take. Newman hit. He's not a good free throw shooter. Javante, he's for the third time in 4 seasons. He's looking for his second ever trip to the championship game. The first came in their first year in the Patriot. He took over when they were still in America East. They joined the Patriot in 2013-14, won the regular season title, and lost in the championship game to American.
Joe Jones, I've known him for a long time. We worked together. Right? We were co-workers at Villanova under Jay Wright, and he took over for Pat Chambers, another Villanova guy. They have done great jobs. They've done a great job here with this BU program. I can't root for anybody. We got to keep it neutral. But again, 2 quality guys.
Bucknell, though, trouble at the stripe all year. BU multiple subs. Andrew Petcash, 14, is in. Ethan Britton Watts, 0 is in. Mahoney with a foul. Remains and screens. On a switch. McCoy firing to Petcash. BU is 4 for 4 from outside.
You just can't allow that. Petcash, that's what he does. He's a catch and shoot. You got to run him off the line no matter what's happening on the other side of the floor. You got to sprint and get over there and force him to put the ball on the floor.
An extra pass corner and the 3 ball off for Xander Rice. Bucknell settling for a lot of threes and a lot of one and dones for the Bison.
King Rice, Xander Rice's father is like, get out there, you know the scouting report, and guard Petcash.
Walter White kicking up top. Mahoney wants it. McCoy feeds him. Is that double going to come? Mahoney doesn't feel it.
Yeah, they're going to let Newman guard him one-on-one because he's a bigger player.
And Newman's got his first. That'll put Mahoney at the line, not a strength of his game.
And it's just hard to guard a guy who has that many things in his bag. I mean, he can just step through. He can make jump shots. I mean, he just can do every single thing imaginable, and he's athletic as well. And as you mentioned, John, this may be something to help because this is not a strong suit.
Here he is at the line, sub 60%, and he misses on the first. Well, BU, no Patriot League tournament titles. They last went dancing when they took America East in 2011. Their last tournament win, they bunched them together. They went to the Elite 8 in 1959. West Virginia led by Jerry West.
Wow.
That Jerry West.
How long ago was that?
That was 1959. And how about this, Chris Walker?
What's that?
West Virginia went to the title game that year, lost by 1 to Cal, your last coaching stop.
Wow. You know, that must have been Coach New. Who was the Cal? I'm trying to figure who was the Cal coach then. Forget his name.
Pete Newell.
Pete Newell, that's right. They still think Pete Newell's at Cal, by the way, but he's not.
Well, BU is decidedly on top here, led by 16. The last time they met did Bucknell. Saw it evaporate. Today they're down big early, and Abi Toomer getting a rare touch. Another miss. Tynan loses handle and his footing. A tumble out of bounds. Multiple subs lying in wait for Bucknell. Sotos will return along with Andrew Funk.
The thing that BU has to do is they have to shoot the ball at a high rate. See my guy McCoy knocking down a 3 ball. Got to find him. If he gets hot like that early, he can actually put the ball on the floor as well. But you got to get out and find Xander Rice late getting out there. Just, if they shoot the ball well at home and they can throw it inside, John, and score, it's going to be a tough night for the Bison.
10-2 run for the Terriers to take this lead. Sotos, ball screen on a switch, corner. End-line snap off the head fake. 4 to shoot. Sotos running out of time. shot clock violation. Well, BU's defense has been stellar. Second best scoring defense in the league, and they are denying.
You can see Coach Nathan Davis on the sideline saying, shoot the ball. Soto's driving. But he got away with a foul there, BU. Got a little bit more awareness. They know that Bucknell shoots the ball great from three. They have to take away that line.
Jack Hemphill gets hit and fouled by Andrew Funk. And that's part of the wrinkle, right? Unique to the Patriot League compared to most other leagues. High seeds host. There are days between each round in the tournament. So the regular season carries a lot of clout. You earn your spot in the tournament.
Yeah, I think that's the way it should be. I'm obviously a proponent of if you win your league, you should be in the NCAA tournament because I think that's a tougher thing to do. But if you're going to do it this way in a one-bid league, give the champion every opportunity to win the championship.
McCoy, 7 to shoot. Oh, what an artful move. Rattles it off. And Khalil Spear the board.
John, that's what I'm talking about. Force him to do that, to make the circus shot on the move and on the run, then to let him shoot behind the line and get his feet set and knock down triples.
Sotos. He's been seeing bodies running out of all game. He's the head of the snake of this Bucknell offense. The pivotal point guard for a team with balanced scoring. Falling away, Jay is good. Xander Rice.
Looking like his father back in the day. I played against his dad. How about that?
Who got the better of who?
Oh, don't talk. He was at Carolina with Dean Smith back then.
Now the head man at Monmouth University on the Jersey Shore. McCoy, the no-look snap to Tynan. Aggressive drive, lead into it. Fletcher Tynan, who averages 3 a game. They are spreading the wealth, going deep for BU.
Spreading the wealth and being very aggressive. That's what happens when playing at home. John, they were down 16 in this gym the last time they played. They remember that. So getting off the great start is crucial.
Bucknell has not found an offensive identity yet. Funk contested Jay off. Hemphill's got it.
You notice they're not allowing them to get shots from the three-point line. Force them to put it on the floor. Force them to be athletic. That's when they're not at their strength.
Pet Cash. McCoy ball on a string. He's shown a wicked handle today. Hemphill trying to muscle. Off target, gets the board. Put back, no. And a foul as he goes over the back.
Khalil Spear there after getting help with the double team. As I said before, that's what they're going to do every single down. The Terriers playing like big dogs.
Raises more than $3 million, over 40,000 walkers participating. And BU right at home here at Cage Gym, comfortably cruising up 19-8. No surprise.
No surprise. And this just probably goes all across the country. Everyone always plays well in the friendly confines of home, but shooting the ball at a high clip and scoring at a high clip. And they're already off to a great start here. Bucknell is going to have to start making some shots. I'm sure Coach Davis is talking about that in timeout. So we got to generate some offense. But listen, you pointed out to me in the break they have no assists. They got to drive and kick and get your buddy open. But at the end of the day, BU is suffocating that line.
And Jimmy Sotos, the point guard, has been harassed, feeling the pressure from Harper.
The Boston U, they're playing with very good intensity right now. But we'll see as the game goes on.
Bobby Toomer lost it. Mahoney tumbling. Able to snap it off to Britton Watts. And here's BU without McCoy on the floor for a stretch. How might that change them?
Again, not as much of a scorer on the floor because McCoy, he's an attacker, which helps Bucknell a little bit, but they can't relax.
There they'll get Ethan Britton Watts with his first for BU. Bucknell subs John Meeks back in, who averages 11.5 points a game. He's their leading rebounder on the season. But he had illness the first time these teams met in what turned out to be an embarrassing loss for Bucknell. The worst loss they've ever suffered in Soika Pavilion, which had been a house of horrors for the Patriot League and all of college basketball.
Yeah, no doubt. And they punished them in the paint. And that's why I said if Bucknell wants to win this game, they have to bring a level of physicality on both sides. They have to score the paint and they have to defend the paint as well. That'll help, though.
The first made 3 of the game, and it comes from Abi Toomer.
Just got to be aggressive. You know, it's one and done. You lose, you go home. You have to be aggressive, leave nothing on the floor.
Fletcher Tynan gets hit. And the numbers for Toomer mirror that of team success. When Bucknell wins, he leads them in scoring. 13.5 a game, 51% from the field and outside. When they lose, he shoots 32% from the field and outside.
You see Meeks getting, number 12, Meeks getting caught up on a pick and roll situation. They were probably supposed to switch it. They got jammed up. Tynan gets to the foul line.
BU with the stripe. Free throw off. Newman's got it. And for Bucknell, you talk about the ability to drive and dish. Even if the outside shot is ultimately where they're successful, you still want the touch in the paint.
Yeah, no doubt. Hopefully they'll double. And again, they may get some fouls on some of the bigs from BU, but they're going to keep shooting the basketball because that's what they do.
Toomer ahead of the field, and he draws the foul.
Toomer's picking up where he left off. The American playing great. They need him. Turnover there, just shooting the gap, looking like Deion Sanders.
And this is a way that Bucknell could get itself in the ball game. This Bucknell team, though, has been awful at the line of late. As a team, even the good free throw shooters, collectively in their last 8 games, sub 60%.
But that's pretty amazing, given the fact that they shoot the ball so well. You know, those things got to be a concentration factor. But getting back to that last play, talking about limit turnovers, those type of plays like that are what they need. Touchdown turnovers where he can get points without having to score against the teeth of BU's defense.
Each team 2 of 4 at the line early. BU deadly from deep. Mahoney hasn't even really gotten going. Feel like he's lying in wait right now. Britton Watts.
They got the switch. They got what they wanted. They got Rice. Another turnover.
Can Bucknell capitalize at the other end? Toomer.
And BU's usually pretty efficient, and they don't turn the ball over that often. You just figure if Bucknell's going to win this game, they have to do something a little bit different on the road.
Newman trucking Tynan. Mahoney's got it. Kept it out of the prying reach of Sotos.
Yeah, Newman thought Tynan was there to take the charge, took his eyes off finishing, so always keep your eyes on the rim at all times.
In stride, Toomer. Sotos trailing. He forces the bounce thread to Meeks. Out of bounds off BU. So Walter Ellis is going to sub back in for Bucknell. He hasn't had a ton of touches, but he's their best outside shooter.
Yeah, he's lights out and shoots almost a little bit over 40% from 3, which is unbelievable. Almost like shooting 60 from 2. He is very dangerous. They just need a rhythm. They've got 13 points, a little less than 9 minutes. They need to get in a rhythm here offensively.
See the note on the buys. They came when BU came to the league. And the conference expanded from 8 to 10. Holy Cross is a 9 seed, the lowest seed to ever win the tournament. The second lowest, Lafayette, is a 4. Every other champion in league history has been a 1 or 2 seed. Each of these teams will try to make history. With 2 on the timer, they got a piece. Mahoney the board. White just saw it as he crossed his nose.
BU's playing excellent defense on the catch. They got hands up on the shooters, not allowing drives. Bucknell just can't play catch around the 3-point line.
Oh, Mahoney denied hard by Newman. Bucknell bench doesn't like it. What did you see?
The ref says he hit him across his head. I'd like to see the replay. It looked like it was a clean block, but he got an angle on him. McCoy with a great pass.
Oh, he definitely.
Yeah, his elbow.
Blocked the rear of his head.
He blocked the rear of his head. His elbow. Yeah, he did. But not the ball, though.
That's 2 fouls on Trey Newman. What do you do?
Very significant. You got to get him out of the game, but you can't allow him. Even though Trey Newman is a bigger player, you're talking about an all-league player in this league, giving him the ball one-on-one. It's going to be tough for anybody to guard him. You got to front him, and you got to double him, and you got to make him kick out of the double team.
Well, Mahoney was the second most free throw attempts in the Patriot League, but shoots at 59%, able to hit the first. Khalil Spear among the subs for Bucknell. And you see the graduation that you talked about year to year in terms of his accolades.
Yeah, you got to give Coach Jones credit for that. He said that he's having the best year of any player he's ever coached. And you see the progression from third all-conference, second all-conference as junior to this year first team. Coach, he's a joy to coach, and those are the kind of guys you want in college basketball.
Smothered, turned over. Say my name, Walter White.
It's what got BU back in the game when they were down 16 in the same gym.
Right down the lane. The one who knocks. White wants it. McCoy, trouble, able to steady.
Walter White with a big-time steal dunk, playing volleyball with Rice's layup. Wow.
Alley-oop, Mahoney.
Got to get a timeout. We got to slow this thing down, Coach Davis.
At Soika Pavilion.
I was talking to Coach Davis. He still feels the pain of that game coming back. He said, we couldn't make a shot in the last 5 minutes. Credit Joe Jones. You know Bucknell has been the standard of this league. To pull a sweep off like that is amazing.
Joe Jones, though, said he didn't feel his team played hard enough in that matchup 8 days ago, and that they were lucky to escape with a win.
Yeah, I'll take anybody down 16 to come back and win. I'll take that all day long. As a coach, we'll criticize ourselves every single time in our players, but that is big time.
Toomer short, won by BU, and that was part of the message that he underscored regularly during a hard 2-hour practice yesterday. He said, where is the energy? Where is the intensity? It's now. The game is now.
Yeah, no doubt about that. That's something, a mantra that we always use. The next game is always the biggest game in your schedule, and practice has got to be like the game. And Mr. McCoy is playing like his practice right now.
Yeah, McCoy, 3 made buckets, including perfect 2 for 2 from deep. He has been sharp. It's 8 unanswered by BU. Inline drive, Sotos gets bodied. He has been bothered. You see him there asking for a foul.
And you think about the reason why they don't have any assists. We saw that last time down. Toomer shoots a 3 off the dribble down Sotos. They're not getting their players open and making shots for their buddy. That's why everything is one-on-one.
Does it feel like BU is just not only more energetic, but more physical in this game, just beating them up?
I agree that they're on the road. You know, we talk about Bucknell playing on the road again, beating America, that emotional high, and coming in here after losing, being up 16. BU right now is doing a great job.
Sotos, the facilitator all year. Gets hounded by a double. Bad pass. Toomer, the prayer shot. The 2 untrue, and Harper's got it.
So what they're doing is as they drive, Sotos drive, they're staying with shooters. They're going to force Sotos to make layups, right? Getting to the rim and be athletic. They're not going to leave shooters on the perimeter. That's why they have no assists.
That's a remarkable number from the Bucknell team that's been a machine, but has always been blessed with an outstanding big through the years. They don't have that gargantuan big like Mahoney for BU, who feeds White, and he powers home. And one chance for WW.
Yeah, Walter Ellis fell asleep. That's a scouting report issue. You throw the ball inside to the big fella. He's a 2-to-1 assist turnover guy, which I probably have never seen for a big in the country. They're going to cut the minute it goes. That high big is going to cut right down the middle of the lane. White has had an impact on the game as well as McCoy.
Walter White missed all of last year. Complications from the bone bruise on his ankle. How about this? So his senior year of high school, he was in the Jordan Brand All-Star game. He was the only player from that game to go to a mid-major. Why? His mom, a social worker, always prized and lauded education, high academic ideals, and the connection with his head coach, Joe Jones.
And that's amazing. And Joe Jones, a big-time recruiter. As Meeks, he's so savvy inside. That softball's a big-time player. Doesn't look the part, but he can get some buckets. But, John, I wish more kids would make decisions based on that instead of, they got a great practice gym. They wear Nike or Adidas, whatever. And that's why that transfer portal is just blowing up with so many kids, because kids don't make decisions for the right reasons.
Bucknell just snapped an 0 for 7 from the field. BU has been red hot. McCoy, what a feed. Trying to wrap it around and out of bounds. Little out of control, Fletcher timing. For Bucknell, though, it's a slippery slope. It's college basketball, Chris. We've seen some crazy comebacks. Nathan Davis has seen some crazy comebacks. But this feels like an avalanche that Bucknell has to cut into before halftime.
Yeah, I agree. 4 and some change to go. They just need to figure out, and maybe it's going to take it at halftime. They got to figure out some different ways to free their shooters up, or some driving lanes to get to the rim, because they're not leaving shooters at all.
And there's their best shooter who's trying to drive, looking for a foul call, doesn't get it.
Exactly, but again, the scouting report, credit Joe Jones, has forced them to put the ball on the floor, make Ellis, make Sotos, make Toomer finish at the rim.
That's what Joe Jones said. Make it tough twos. Tynan has his pocket pick. Here's Ellis. Right down the lane, and he draws the foul from McCoy. That'll be his first.
But John, the turnovers are piling up. The dogs in the dog pound. You mentioned before, and I believe it too, like, it's a critical moment, but here's the other thing. Bucknell's been down to these guys before. They know they can come back. Now, not the smartest way to do it, right? But at the end of the day, Joe Jones has to make sure his team keeps their foot on the gas.
Joe Jones says that his team's connectivity critical to its success, and it all began in August. They went on a trip to Spain, their first international journey in half a dozen years. Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia. It was their first chance to give Walter White minutes. He was hurt and missed all of last year, and he talked of the connectivity between the team, the true togetherness that evolved, that has spilled throughout this season, that has the Terriers one win short of 20 on the year and a trip to the title game.
And that's one word, John. That's called culture. And that's how you build culture. You know, you got toughness. There's a great way to win games, but togetherness is the other way. And that's the way that, unfortunately, a lot of teams, a lot of coaches miss out on. Guys have to love each other and want to do it for each other, especially this time of year in March when it's all about being together.
And how about the want-to for the ball there? Confusion on who had last touch. It's BU ball, 6 to shoot. What a playground move by Mahoney, and then White able to tip it. It's a volleyball spike, and then White taps it. Bucknell last touch. Why is this such a tough entry point here, Chris?
Just, you know, you don't have many plays. Most coaches don't have plays. They bring it up here by the hash mark. When they do side out of bounds, at this point, they just try to get the ball in bounds, not really run plays to score.
Petcash contested. Tapped out, in stride Meeks, pocket pick, Mahoney on his backside.
Yeah, Meeks got to grab that, find a guard, in traffic.
Oh, Meeks here's banged up, coming up the floor. And a foul, Tynan looking for the loose ball. Contact on the block.
You see Meeks again, not his strong suit. You know, just got to pick that up, get a turnover. We've been struggling to score the basketball. Someone's coming behind you. Even go Petcash pokes it away in front of him.
And Bucknell, which has had very defined stars, the cream of the crop in this league for a long time, usually at distinct positions. This year, it's 4 scorers all around 11 points a game, including Meeks, who in conference play was their leading scorer in rebounding.
Yeah, he's talented. He knows how to score the basketball. That's one thing he can do. And I'll tell you this, John, if they can continue to play defense and get to the foul line, they got to make them. That would help. They can cut into this lead.
The first of the bonus free throws with 7 fouls on BU.
See, they're fronting Mahoney, number 51. They're not going to allow him to get the ball in the post. The best way to guard it is not to let him touch it instead of playing behind him and letting him go to work.
5 to shoot. McCoy. Walter White wide open. How does that happen?
That's driving kick. That's what it is. McCoy is so good at getting to the rim. Unlike the other side, where Bucknell doesn't have a guy who can score at the rim, McCoy can drive and kick, and Mr.
Ellis from deep, but he comes up, tapping his head, looking at our official, asking for a foul again. Mahoney unable to finish it. Loose, and Sotos has it. It feels like Bucknell is constantly asking for calls instead of finishing the play.
Yeah, they definitely need to finish the play. And again, they're talking about toughness. That's why dominating the paint. You got to bring a physicality to the game. Don't look at the refs. Focus on what you need to do. It's going to be a hard-fought game. You're trying to get to the NCAA tournament. Let's go.
Sotos misses. Mahoney.
Sotos got a jump stop, shot fake, right? Don't try to score right away.
And it's felt like BU has put him in a blender a bit, speeding up this Bucknell team. Great pass. Mahoney a tumble. Bucknell on the run. Here's Sotos. Right over Britton Watts. Offensive foul. Just dropped the shoulder right into it.
You know, Sotos, I mean, you got a Euro there. I mean, it's just such an easy call for the refs.
Coming up, AT&T at the half. Brent Stover, John Rothstein will get you caught up on all the latest news, scores, and highlights in college basketball to head your way on AT&T at the half. Have you gotten your T-shirt from Mr. Rothstein?
I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting on Mr. Rothstein to give me my shirt. We need two guys, two bald guys, me and you. You know, we'll call them Ebony and Ivory, and then John can do whatever he wants. How's that?
As long as I can be on stuffed. Basketball and food, he's got me hooked. McCoy with 4 to shoot. Oh, nice no look. And Jack Hemphill able to finish.
And you got to give McCoy all the credit there. He's very hard to deal with off those ball screens. I would actually trap him. Trap him, be aggressive, make them do something different. Because if they allow him to do that, he's going to punish them all game long.
High arcing Jay off for Funk. What do you want here from BU? About a 10-second differential.
Well, that would keep the ball. Listen, they're up there. Coach Jay Jones, Joe Jones called a timeout. So at the end of the day, that was the best play.
Boston University ball with a gaudy lead out of the Terriers' call timeout. They'll sub in the shooter, Andrew Petcash.
Yeah, they'll sub him in. Again, look for them to put the ball in McCoy's hands, right? Look for a two-man game with the big fella Mahoney, and if they help, look for throwing it back to the weak side. Come off the ball screen, throw it back to the weak side. He'll be on the same side as Mahoney for a 3 or a two-man game with the big fella.
So everyone outside of 51, their best big Mahoney can shoot from outside.
They look for White to go set a ball, go set a screen on the big fella, and then he goes and sets the ball screen.
McCoy, it's Mahoney who screens. White lurks corner, 7 to shoot. Feed the big fella inside. Mahoney turning around, short, tapped. Harper's got it. Swatted hard by Ellis, out of bounds. BU ball, 9 seconds, holding for one shot.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Take the last shot. It's the two-man game, just like I said. Come off the ball screen, the big fella. If they switch, you have a mismatch, and Harper can't finish it.
9 seconds. Mahoney back to McCoy, who's bodied. Tried to playground it off Meeks. Inadvertently gives it to Bucknell. 5.5. They've already called the use it or lose it.
Yeah, here's the thing. They've turned them over a lot, John. They just can't score. I thought that was a key to the game, that BU could, if they could get BU to turn the ball over more than normal, it would help them, but they just haven't been able to put points on the board.
Sukmail, Matone, and Mahoney out. So their best big doesn't get a silly foul in the last 5.5 seconds.
There's no doubt they're going to try to get to the rim. Hopefully they would, usually in this situation, they would not try to foul you. But Joe Jones goes zone.
Soto's deep 3, and he drains it.
Great call.
So let's see how Bucknell can respond. Remember, they did get the deep 3 by this man, Jimmy Sotos. And there's issue, the shot clock started. It was at 18, while the game clock had only 3 seconds off. They're going to put 28 on the timer. A sluggish beginning here. But we'll see if that 3 can liberate Bucknell. So you talk about the need to make shots. What kinds of shots do you want to see from Bucknell?
I want to see drive and kick. That's that action there, that baseline screen action. I told you, right out of halftime, Coach Davis going to get in and draw some things up. They actually did not run that action the entire first half, that misdirection with the 2 screens on the baseline. Great start for the Bison.
And all of a sudden, it's a 10, and here's Bucknell, a chance to make it a single-digit game.
Again, they got to make threes, and they got to turn them over. That is the chance. That is the opportunity that they have. No other way can they get this, pull this upset off.
Sotos with the screen from Newman, who flashes. Meeks thought about the deep 3. Mahoney out to defend. Contested leaning left-hander off. Newman put back, rattles down, wow. And it's back to single digits.
Unbelievable. Right out the gate, they have shown BU that they're not going away. John, keep in mind, down 16 the last time. In case Jim pulling off what could have been an upset, but BU came back and got the W.
Mahoney down low, trying to knife in into that 11-2 run, and he does. It's a big safety valve to have a big fella like that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, he saved you at all different times. Bucknell just got to keep running their offense. Stay efficient. Don't get caught up in the moment. There's a mismatch here with Meeks.
Meeks on Harper. He's got the size. Yeah. Sweeping hook.
Too little.
That's shades of the bucket that won it against Kansas in the tournament back in 05.
No doubt about that. I remember doing the Vanderbilt game, and Jerry Stackhouse, I was looking at little baby. When that little baby gets in there, you gotta put him to sleep.
Now White, who had a stellar first, sees a double on the end line. Now Toomer alone. Mahoney, he can dribble too. Head fake, rebound, foul number 3 on Paul Trey Newman.
Yeah, they're just committed to allowing him to guard him one-on-one. And my thing is, I think they have to blitz him every time and force him to kick it out. I know Newman has a bigger body, but he just has too many moves inside of the post, and he's very cagey and knows how to get fouls.
It looks like Khalil Spear will take his spot with Mahoney at the line. And Spear is a great shot blocker. Doesn't play a ton of minutes on the year. And Mahoney, a subpar free throw shooter, misses. Tonight, 6 Eastern, we switch to Major League Rugby. Old Glory DC battles Atlanta, only on CBS Sports Network. I think Mahoney would be a pretty good rugby player.
Yeah, he would. He's definitely rough and tough, but he got to make these free throws. They're talking about it's at single digits now. Momentum has definitely swung in Bucknell's favor.
It had not been single digits since the 8-11 mark of the first half until here in the infancy of the second. And a lot of time left. Toomer on the cut. Bucket.
I mean, think about the energy right now. They've come out. It's almost like they played coy in the first half, and they're really working. I mentioned earlier about Bucknell coming back. No, it was BU that came back, and now look at Bucknell returning the favor.
White, he saw the double lying in wait. Flips to Mahoney and a hold. Looks like Toomer getting a piece of the tone.
You see it again, a nice cut. Good screen there by Meeks. Joe Jones, you can see him on the sideline going, what are you guys doing on that situation? You got to have active hands on the passer, and you got to talk about how you're going to guard that screen. He was far too wide open.
Whistles upon entry. Did we again have an issue with the shot clock this time not starting? Only 1 second it looked like it went off. Nathan Farrell, Dwayne Gladden, Dave Fernandez, our officiating crew in this Patriot League semifinal. Remember, right at the start of the second half, there was an issue. The shot clock went independent of the game clock and ticked down double-digit seconds more. And on this occasion, yep, they're going to take a second off the shot clock. It did not begin upon entry.
Well, you know, it's March Madness, John, and we've seen our share of upsets. Every second counts.
Give credit to our officials who both times noticed the clock discrepancies, and hopefully it won't rear in the later stage of the game.
Bucknell switching and all the pick and rolls.
And a lot more physical, Chris.
No doubt.
Mahoney, as the double comes, he goes end line, and a late whistle.
He's just stepping through, makes a bigger body on him, but again, you're behind him. Talk about a first-team all-league player, and this is what he does. He has an array of moves. He steps through. I'd like to see that double come from the bottom, right, and trap him and force him to kick the ball out. Make him make plays, make him think. But if you're just going to let him go one-on-one all game, it's going to be tough. But the other thing, John, is maybe that's a smart strategy because you know what he doesn't do well? He doesn't make free throws.
59%. Foul to Soto's his second, team's third already. Mahoney shooting 2. One short.
Hack-a-Mahoney. Let's call it Hack-a-Mahoney. Hack-a-Shack.
We asked Joe Jones, do teams ever try to foul Mahoney more in an endgame situation? And he said no, it hadn't happened all year. We asked Nathan Davis, is that something that you would consider in a game like this? And he said definitely yes.
Wow. How about that? I know I would. But you know, different coaches have different philosophies. But I'll say it again, the momentum has swung, and you can see the defense, the offense, I'm sorry, is a little bit more lively with Bucknell. Again, BU switching screens the way Bucknell's are. They're running that mismatch again because they're switching. They're working the offense around until they get the mismatch with Harper on Meeks, and they're trying to exploit it. Harper cannot guard him there. But here's an opportunity. If they go trap, John, they can kick for some threes, right? They're committing 2 to the ball.
Harper's got his first. That's the team's first. Soto surveys Toomer.
John, you just knew that it wasn't going to be a situation where Bucknell was not going to fight back. He's got too much pride, too much winning in this conference.
And Spear hit en route to the rim. They'll get Walter White with his first. Spear only getting minutes because Newman is in foul trouble.
See that switch again. White not rotating over quick enough. But again, they have shooters. Andrew Funk's on the perimeter out there. Has to slide over. You got to have awareness to the shooters so that lane is wide open.
How about this? Bucknell has begun the second 4 of 5 from the field after shooting 32% in the first half. And for BU, nobody outside of Mahoney has scored. So Nathan Davis has woken up his Bison, the lowly 7 seed. They have been the power in the Patriot for a decade.
Yeah, he's a big-time coach. Got to spend some quality time with him. Love the way he thinks about the game and the way he runs offense. He's another guy. I know he loves it at Bucknell. He's a guy, you know, when these jobs open, these major jobs, they need to look at a guy like him. He's been successful at Randolph-Macon. He's been successful here. Quality coach, great coaching.
He was on the staff with Pat Flannery when they offered a couple of big upsets in the big dance. Took down Kansas and Arkansas in back-to-back years. Now can they get a bucket? Spear.
Spear needs to take advantage of it because they're switching. They're throwing it back, and they're throwing it inside with the mismatch.
Oh, Meeks stepping back on Harper.
Oh, crafty southpaw. It's a game, John.
13-4 run for Bucknell. Off target, Mahoney. He's been the entire offense for the Terriers since the break. Headman to Spear, pocket picked. Bucknell thought he was out of bounds. McCoy, what a crossover, and Mahoney inside position.
Yeah, he's the one guy, he's the force. Let's see if Bucknell switches defenses here. You just can't allow him to dominate the game, even though both those situations in transition.
Sotos, he's been quiet. Mahoney, a mismatch. Take the three, right in his face. And White's got it.
BU's committed to switching. They either got Sotos, got to take advantage of that, or they got to find a mismatch with the big. And there it is down. How about this guy? Max Mahoney taking over the last 3 possessions of the game. The big fella doing his thing.
Walter White rocks the rim.
I'll tell you this in the Patriot League, as I say before, anytime you play the NCAA tournament, you're playing a champion. They can say mid-majors all you want. You're playing a champion, and you can get beat in a neutral site setting.
Bucknell, so much more efficient since halftime. They brought it to single digits a few times. They haven't gotten over that hump.
No, they haven't. And Bucknell Bison came out in a flurry, but the Terriers are barking back, trying to take control of this game.
Toomer, the first to double figures with 10. He's got 5 to shoot. Sotos, he doesn't have a choice. The heave! Air ball and a shot clock violation. Second of the game for the BU defense.
You hate to see that happen after the timeout.
So out of a timeout, the defense does it. And we will step aside. It was 17.
Team in a position to make quality plays. But Boston University, they got that big fella inside. He's out now. This may be a time for Bucknell to try to, work into this lead a little bit.
Well, Bucknell's energy and physicality has been noticeably better in the second half.
Certainly has. But again, they're going to need stop after stop and quality possessions. And I think the 3 ball still is going to be a critical point in this game. They're going to need some big-time possessions.
Matone, size mismatch on Sotos. Late help from Ellis, and with no angle, he finishes.
And you got to come trap him and blitz him. You got to make him pass it. Once he catches him back to the, it's too late. You got to get there a lot sooner. And if you're Sotos, you front him and do not allow him to get the ball.
It's an 8-0 run for BU. Newman playing with 3 fouls. Artful move.
Yeah, big fella's nice. I mean, got to move your feet and slide in front of him. He's going to that right shoulder every single time.
All of BU's points in this latest spurt have come in the paint. McCoy in the painted area, bumping with Newman, twisting, fall away, rattles off. Matone briefly tied up, jump ball.
Need a little bit more of that.
Favors BU.
Yeah, it's all about they need a little bit more of that. Again, you keep mentioning the physicality. Come out with a lot more energy, attention to detail about getting 50-50 balls. But everything in the paint for BU. That's where they're putting the ball in the paint. They're going to force the Bison to play physical.
Also feels like they're going right at Newman, recognizing he's got 3 fouls. Harper trying to sidestep. White showing the lefty dribble, switches right hand, he finishes.
Yeah, it's on the closeout, reverse the ball, make a play, shot fake, drive. He is the most athletic player on the floor. Somebody's got to be there to take a charge, but Newman was there, but he's got 3 fouls, so he couldn't do anything about that.
And Funk able to sidestep. Did White think help was coming? Walter White's wincing and a little slow coming up the floor here.
Yeah, setting that screen, but again, if Bucknell wants to get back in this game, the 3 ball is going to be critical, but they're still switching those screens. You see McCoy going right at Newman.
Matone, major size mismatch on Toomer. Help from Newman. Hello, Newman. Knock it free and a foul. Is it going to be Toomer? Toomer wants to get the foul. I don't think so. It looks like it's going on Newman. No,
wow.
Toomer.
How about that?
I thought I saw a clenched fist when he first showed table.
I know. Toomer might be able to sell some cars, John. There's no question that Newman fouled him there.
And that would have been his 4th, but instead it's the 2nd on Avi Toomer.
That? Coach Toomer, we got to call him. But you know what they did, though? Again, that's how you have to trap him. But point of emphasis, the guys that are trapping should not get the steal. Newman should keep your hands up and let him pass out and let the interceptors get the steal.
White on Ellis. Mahoney's back in. Muscles, triple team. Kick it. Petcash 3.
That's how you got to play him. You got to trap him, let him kick it out, contest jumpers.
Sotos, Toomer, give him the 3. Drains it.
Wow. I like it. That's the defensive game plan I would employ. You can't let Mahoney go one-on-one. Trap him, make him kick it, force BU to make 3s if they want to get to the championship game in the Patriot League.
Bucknell is 3 of 4 from deep in the second half.
John, you see, in front, Sotos is fronting him. He's not allowing him to catch the basketball. He can't get on his back. He's too small.
McCoy, great feed. Petcash back door.
Yeah, Funk fell asleep there. Ball watching, as we call it. Nice cut there by Petcash.
Sub to the table. Tynan ready to check in for the Terriers. Mahoney D'ing up the shooter in Funk. Turnover. Petcash. Dangerous head man. And he gives it to Ellis. 5 on 3 for Bucknell. Toomer again.
Wow. Patriot League on fire, John. We got a prize fight here.
It was 17. It's down to 5.
Interesting, both teams have the same defensive strategy of switching every screen. You see right here, Newman in a mismatch situation.
Oh, Mahoney just got bigger. McCoy floats it home.
I mean, he's the difference in the game, John. Does everything.
Quiets what was a 9-2 run. Bucknell is not known an advantage in this game. Turnover. McCoy finds White.
Well, that's happened a few times now. Bucknell's made some great plays, and they come down and turn it over, just rushing and getting themselves in a hurry.
Sotos trying to step through, and he gets hit. The pace is picked up dramatically.
Playing at home, and if you're a high seed, and as you mentioned earlier, the regular season matters.
And if Bucknell were to win the title as a 7 seed, it would have to match what Holy Cross did, which is win 4 games over the course of the tournament. Sotos drains the free throw. Bucknell has not led in the game. He's trailed by as many as 17. Roles have been reversed. 8 days ago in this building on BU Senior Day, It was a 16-point advantage for Bucknell that went by the wayside, and BU took it by 3.
Now this March Madness, partner, we've seen a few games now where no lead is safe, especially with that three-point line out there.
McCoy, bad miss.
But you see what they're doing, John? They're doubling Mahoney, forcing him to kick it out, forcing him to make threes. Now you just have to box out Mahoney, and you can get your break started.
Toomer looks to Meeks. Muscling inside. He's used that hook before. That off to Timon. Mahoney wants it. Desperately wants it. Comes to the ball up top. Drives McCoy. A little late, out of bounds from Bucknell. Harper will come back in, a shooter. McCoy out, the primary ball handler for BU.
And I'm just watching the way BU is defending. They're content to stay behind Mahoney with Meeks with a bigger body. And let's see if they come with the double there.
Mahoney feed the inbounder. What a move, Ethan Britton Watts.
I wanted to call it out. I said, well, because they're worried about Mahoney faking the handoff and driving.
He was an all-rookie team performer in the Patriot League. Sotos bumped, and the whistle. And Fletcher Tynan got a piece of him. That'll be his second. This is gorgeous.
Yeah, but you can't say enough. I was looking at the stats. I'm like, this guy's a 2-to-1 assist ratio for a big. That's unheard of. Bigs usually have more turnovers than assists. That is elite. And then games where they've lost, he has more turnovers than assists. How about that? That's why you have to trap him and force him to make plays out of the double.
And we asked Nathan Davis, what are the keys to this game? The number one thing came out of his mouth, post defense, particularly Mahoney. High arcing three off for Funk. Loose ball. Meeks wins it. Bucknell second life. Toomer in rhythm.
Got to give Ellis the hockey assist. Ellis knocked that ball out for another 3 ball. Here's the thing. If they get 2, they get 3. They're going to catch up. Shoot. They can make 2s. If they can make 3s, be an interesting game. But they got to stop them.
Trying to thread the needle. Toomer tripped up, draws the foul from Mahoney.
Too much traffic in there trying to thread a needle. Another turnover. Jen, the turnovers are piling up for BU.
And that is the 3rd foul on Mahoney. So 5 fouls on BU. Bucknell's 2 away from bonus with 8:50 to go. And Avi Toomer's been the hot hand with 5 made threes in the game now.
Yeah, he's lighting up. We talk about what he did in the Holy Cross game and the American game, knocking those free throws down. Could be another epic performance here.
And a turnover down the drain in the lane. Petcash surveys. Mahoney remains in the game.
Yeah, just hard to come back when you just give it away. No shot on goal.
Britton Watts running the show. Harper right back to the young fill-in PG. Mahoney screaming for it, gets fed. And there's the passing to Petcash. Mahoney follow.
Yeah. John Meeks, you have no responsibility other there than to box him out.
Oh, block by White. Harper the pirouette. Barely avoids it over and back.
Sotos thought he had runway cleared for takeoff. But Mr. White wiping that away.
And Mahoney's got a double-double, his 5th in 6 games. Mahoney against Sotos, who fronts him. 7 to shoot. Britton Watts blows by Toomer. Baseline J. White. Poke free. Mahoney on his backside. Harper. Mahoney trying to play ground. Gives it up.
Crowd was ready to erupt.
Sotos loses handle. Out of bounds. BU ball.
And if I was Coach Nathan Davis, and I'm sure he is, I'm going to find him more often.
He is a tough young man. A stress reaction in his left leg cost him 16 games last year, but he returned for the thick of conference play. This year, he missed the first 3 games of the season, a bad broken nose in a closed preseason scrimmage.
Yeah, nothing broken about that jump shot right now, John. He's really on fire. That's what they think about it. The big fella's out of the game. Mahoney's out of the game. This is a time right now where Bucknell needs to make a run.
McCoy is back for BU. Toomer has been the hot hand. 5 made shots from deep. Right into Matone. Tough shot.
Definitely a tough shot, but again, taking advantage. We've been talking so much about the mismatch inside. There's also a mismatch because both teams are switching with the guard guarding the big. Toomer was able to finish there.
Double-doubles have come with regularity for BU. Today, a pair each arrived before the under 8. Mahoney and White combined 72% since halftime. And a swish for Hawkins.
Yeah, timely 3 right there. I was getting ready to say they're going to find out where they're going to get their offense from. He knocks down a triple.
Brings it back to double figures. He had 2 big threes in the last 5 minutes against Navy in the quarterfinals. Joe Jones said he's hit a ton of shots like that through the year. In rhythm. 3-ball response. Bring in Andrew Funk.
Man, you called that one right away. He was in rhythm. I'm sure Joe Jones has said, you got to be kidding me. You got to get out there and force him to put the ball on the floor and make an athletic play.
Meeks ready to check back in before Bucknell. The perennial favorite seeking to play spoiler. McCoy in the hesitation drive. Harper with a quick close. Matone cuts. McCoy 7 to shoot. Pirouette. Lead Matone. He's unsure of what to do. 2 to shoot. Shot clock violation.
Great stop there by the Bison. You see Joe Jones right away getting up saying, let's go, big fella, you got to get back. Joe Jones right away getting up saying, let's go, big fella, you got to get back in. They put the big fella Baton in a tough spot there. But nevertheless, you got to get Mahoney in the game. That's just a tough spot. You see McCoy leaving his feet, leaving his buddy out to dry there. Now let's see offensive. They can find Toomer once again. Toomer's out again. Let's see if they can find Ellis on the 3.
He is their best shooter on the year, and he's been fairly quiet. Mahoney fronting hard against Newman. Each plays with 3 fouls. Sotos. That's a tough bucket.
Tough bucket. Worried about him driving because he's such an elite driver, even though he's not a great finisher. Savvy enough to make that basket. John, 5-point game.
They run their offense a little later. Britton Watts had to retie his sneaker and was late to join the fray. Mahoney asks for it. McCoy, they go over top the screen twice. White, catch, release, in and out, and Ellis has it.
But again, not allowing Mahoney to touch the ball where they have to commit and double team. The best player on the floor favors Bucknell because all they have to do is box out now on those long rebounds.
Bucknell trying to bring it back to 1 possession. Meeks for 3. A little flat.
Yeah, bad shot there. I thought they could have worked around a little bit more. Can we talk about the assist, driving the basketball, trying to take advantage of mismatches, shall I say.
McCoy shielding. White gives it away. Meeks has it.
Great defense. That's what you do there. We're looking for the high-low action.
Ellis!
Wide open. That's what they needed. I know, right? The big fella Mahoney, make him kick it out. And once they kick it out and shoot a 3 or whatever they do, we have to box out number 51.
Remember, 3 fouls for Max Mahoney of BU and Paul Newman, the biggest big for Bucknell, who wears 0. They're matched up with one another on the block. BU hasn't scored in almost 3 minutes. Bad pass, White able to clean it up. Mahoney wants it against Newman.
You can see out of that timeout what the strategy is. Get the ball into the big fella and work through him inside out.
Now it's Mahoney outside trying to get in with 4 to shoot. Over Newman, no call either way. Shot clock violation before out of bounds.
How about that? Getting away with that without a foul? Wow. You got to see that again.
It's playoff basketball.
Yeah, you're right about that. See Mahoney saying, you got to be kidding me. He initiated a lot of that contact, but
now Newman seems a little rattled by it. He's gone to the bench. John Meeks comes back for Bucknell. Sure, Joe Jones looking for some home court calls.
No doubt.
As a 3 seed in this tournament.
I think Mahoney hit him. You see him grabbing his neck. I think he hit him in the neck and he came down.
There's been no time. There's been no lead change. It's been all BU.
Look for Bucknell. Get it inside. Kick out for 3.
Meeks. Mahoney gives no ground. A steal. Harper fouled by Toomer. That's going to be his 3rd, team's 5th.
Yeah, Meeks had the right idea, except that he didn't have a mismatch with Mahoney. They're better off popping him out and letting him drive because he has 3-point range. Pop him out, let him drive on Mahoney as opposed to post him up.
Toomer has been the critical scorer. Back to the fray. Newman. Meeks gets a breather. And you got to think as we get closer to crunch time, there are free throw liabilities for each team. Bonus is not all that far away. We're likely to see a slew of substitutions and teams holding on to timeouts.
Man, that's offense, defense, you're right. But if Mahoney gets it, you're talking about Hacker Mahoney. Foul him right away and put him on the foul line will be critical to see if they employ that.
Mahoney loses handle, tumbling. Jump ball. And the arrow favors Bucknell.
Wow, just a gift that keeps on giving.
And it looks like Meeks coming in, Newman out. Is this offense, defense already?
Yeah, no question. Spread him out, taking Newman out of the game so they can spread him out. The big fella got crossed in the crosshairs of his ball handling, losing the ball and getting on the floor. 50-50 balls is huge.
So Meeks will trigger with Newman on the bench.
And I'd like to see them spread him out with Meeks and let Meeks drive the ball on Mahoney, and maybe they'll have to help and kick it for a wide-open shooter.
Bucknell hasn't scored in 3 minutes. Sotos to the rim! A one-possession game for the first time since it was 7-4, 2 minutes in.
Show and go, but he usually comes off with his right hand in that situation, and they got him going off the left. And I told you, Bucknell, do you foul him? If you're Bucknell, do you put him on the line? You certainly don't allow him to have a layup, but at the end of the day, the momentum right now might be with Bucknell, John.
Each team with 5 fouls this half. So each has a foul to give before bonus free throws would arrive.
Let's see if Bucknell continues to switch on that ball screen.
McCoy, bodied by Toomer.
Yeah, they didn't switch because they were trying to get the mismatch and throw it back, misdirect the throw inside to Mahoney, but it wasn't open.
Harper, bounce pass. Mahoney to the rim, no! And here's Bucknell, a chance to tie.
March Madness. Let's see what they run again. They try to work that same type of show-and-go ball screen. They switch it.
Head fake. Funk a shooter. Extra give corner. Sotos. Driving end line. Opposite. 3 to tie it. Short. And BU's got it. Harper to McCoy.
Slow it down. Run your offense. The clock is on your side right now.
BU whittling that clock as we approach 1 minute. Each team 2 timeouts. McCoy puts on the afterburners. Big basket.
Great play there by Joe Jones. They did the same thing to Bucknell. They did it then with Sotos. Fake the little show-and-go screen.
Revisit your keys.
Dominate the paint. You see right there. BU has done that, and the Bison haven't been able to counteract it. Shoot 48%. I said they hit 245. They're doing it. That's how they got back this game. Limit turnovers. BU hasn't done that. They usually have 11 on the season. Take away threes. Again, this is how Bucknell comes back into the game, and we'll see what happens the last minute.
Bucknell has had 2 great looks at in-rhythm threes from their best shooters. Fall short. Toomer changing hands.
Game's not over. Got to continue to play. Bucknell's gonna get a shot. I mean, if 51 touches the ball, you have to foul him. And then they have to foul twice, by the way.
So do you consider fouling now?
I would foul now. Actually, I'll take that back. Don't foul now because they may miss, and you're going to get another shot.
Got an 11-second differential. And BU has dominated the boards. McCoy, the shovel. Harper, 4 to shoot. Lead. McCoy! Off heel, Ellis. Headman Sotos, 1-on-1 Harper. And he's fouled. Stop the clock. Sotos to the stripe, a top 5 free throw shooter in the league.
That's why I was looking. Was it on the floor? Okay, get on the floor. There it is.
So no free throws.
Ended up being a smart play.
As Sotos thinks there are shots. He's ready to shape up to the line, and they're telling him he has to inbound it. Yeah. And Bucknell is stunned. They're all disagreeing live on the floor, believing they should be shooting.
Yeah, Bucknell just called a timeout here. So that's what you cannot have. That is the one cardinal rule. No matter what happens, do not foul.
Nathan Davis, 10-2 as a head coach in the Patriot League tournament. What has he drawn up for his 7-seed Bison at the 3-seed BU? Terriers have not known even a tie. They've led all game since beginning it with a bucket. Inbound, Toomer, the hot hand to tie. No! McCoy weak side foul, no shots. 2.1. Wow.
That would look good too. Looked like it was going to fall. BU.
And Avi Toomer knows the weight of that missed shot. He was just on a bent knee for 15 seconds. Tears from his eyes, consoled by his teammate.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's a tough shot. Too tiny on him. And then they got to foul again, John. 2 seconds on the clock. That's where not fouling is beneficial. You see Joe Jones wants to talk it over. Can't have any slip-ups now. You don't want, with people in your face. And you said they've had good looks. And they just haven't made them knock them down. And that's why they're so good. Or they've been so good, shall I say, the last few games. But here, they just cannot turn it over.
The BU knows some tightrope walks. Had no deficits by double digits in 5 of their last 6. They haven't trailed today. Clean entry paramount. 2.1. Inbound Mahoney, and he gets fouled. So their worst free throw shooter. The first of the 1-and-1s with 1.4 seconds.
They've done a great job with the clock management, getting things right.
And they've added 1/10 of a second to 1.5. So Mahoney, the first of the 1-and-1 free throws for BU. Here in the second half, 59% shooter. Their linchpin, their rock. One free throw consulted.
You know they have guys on the line in case he missed. They're going to crowd him.
He misses. Bucknell, the long heave, short, and BU on to the title game for the second time.